Howdy. COP27. There's like Thunderbolts here in the first picture already. Introduction. Addressing the climate crisis requires bold and rapid collective action. Egypt's COP27 presidency vision is to move from negotiations and planning to implementation. Now is the time for action on the ground. It is therefore incumbent upon us to move rapidly forwards, full, timely, inclusive, and all-scale action on the ground. We need to harmonize our global efforts. If we are to meet our pledges and commitments, words must be turned in action. Globally, the increasing frequency and intensity of extreme weather events is impacting the lives and livelihoods of millions of people. Rising global average temperature and rapid global warming are causing alarming consequences on human beings and all other forms of life on Earth. In fact, the climate crisis will aggravate social, economic, and environmental threats. Thus, urgent actions are needed to address the climate crisis and to strengthen the implementation of response with an aim to create a resilient planet. Our collective efforts to combat the adverse impacts of climate change are necessary, crucial, if we are to secure a sustainable future for all. This is the official page from the COP27. And I just want to note that he wears this kind of special colored, was it in English? Tie, maybe? I don't know. The hosting of COP27 in the green city of Sharm el Sheikh this year marks the 30th anniversary of the adoption of the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change. It's the 30 years since the world has come a long way in the fight against climate change and its negative impacts on our planet. We are now able to better understand the science behind climate change, better assess its impacts, and better develop tools to address its causes and consequences. 30 years and 26 COPs later, we now have a much clearer understanding of the extent of the potential climate crisis, what needs to be done to address it effectively. The science is there and clearly shows the urgency with which we must act regarding rapidly reducing emissions of greenhouse gases, taking necessary steps to assist those in need to support to adapt to the negative impacts of climate change, and finding the appropriate formula that would ensure the availability of requisite means and implementation that are indispensable for developing countries in making their contribution to this global effort, especially in the midst of this successive international crisis, including the ongoing food security crisis exacerbated by climate change, desertification, and water scarcity, especially in Africa that suffers the most impacts. Yeah, this was a very long sentence. They talk about greenhouse gases. Carbon dioxide for tulips from Amsterdam. Flowers in greenhouses grow better with more CO2. Flowers in greenhouses grow better with more CO2. Flowers in greenhouses grow better with more CO2. Greenhouse gases. Don't you think there's something like, at least a little bit obscurely funny about that? It couldn't be more straight in your face. Greenhouse gases. What do they pump into the greenhouse in order to get things grow better, faster, bigger? CO2? Let's talk science. Air. Air contains many gases. They include nitrogen, oxygen, carbon dioxide, and water vapor. 78.08% nitrogen, 20.95% oxygen, 0.93% argon. Carbon dioxide 0.038. It isn't very much. Which also means there isn't any or too much left. Which also means, could it be possible that we would have much more vegetation, plants, trees, and all these kinds of things if we would have more carbon dioxide? There would be more food growing. For everyone. For the cows, for you. Using energy from light, plants chemically combine carbon dioxide and water to create glucose and oxygen. This process is called photosynthesis. Plants also absorb oxygen gas from the air. Like animals, plants need oxygen to respire. Respiration is the process of breaking down molecules like glucose for energy. Back to the COP27. In 2015, the world came together and showed the will to make the necessary compromises, which led to the successful adoption of the Paris Agreement. Today, and in light of the unmistakable messages in the recent IPCC reports, yeah, that's why the people glue themselves to the street and stuff. And following COP26 in Glasgow, we are once again called upon to act rapidly if we are to really meet the 1.5-degree goal, build our resilience, and enhance our capacity to adapt. And while these are no doubt major undertakings, I sincerely believe that they can also become opportunities for transformation. Yes, you probably feel them already, the transformation. Towards sustainability, if we collectively think creatively and demonstrate the necessary political will to meet the 1.5-degree goal. Back in the days, I'm talking about hundreds of thousands of years, you can see, everyone can see, it goes up, down, 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 up. And here is 0. And it went as low as -12 and as high as 8. Which means 20. 20 degrees Celsius is the temperature fluctuations over time. You just have to watch on a bigger scale. Take a step back. Take all the sciences into account if you want to figure out what's going on, and it's just some bought. Holocene temperature variations. Holocene is the time we're into, which is about to end. end of the last glacial period. Now we just talk about thousands of years. Here we were talking about hundreds of thousands of years. So we go 2 magnitudes down. And you will notice we came from down here. We came from the Ice Age, and then it was whoa. It went down, like let's say 5,000 years. It went down, and now it's going up a bit. Everyone is freaking out, and watching at these two pictures, there hasn't been any, how they're called, trucks, ships, airplanes, whatever stuff is using, like, gasoline in any way. Let's say approximately 3,000 years ago. And it was still warm. It went still up. And now it goes up again. So, recent proxies, that's also one here. It's going up. Probably, I don't know really what that chart is. Is this thousands of years or what they are talking about? I don't know. But we are talking about sun cycles, natural cycles, temperature fluctuations, which are coupled to energy fluctuations. Since we are connected to the sun, day and night, even though now here it's dark, it's night, we are still connected to the sun. Through Berkeley currents and the energy, the amount, and other things. They will influence weather patterns. We have weather in space above our heads, like clouds and rain and snow and stuff. There's weather beneath our feet too. It's just not that visible. It makes itself visible and hearable, like through volcanic eruptions. It's also enjoyable to some degree when you have hot springs and you can drink very healthy mineral water, which is a water with charge. And since almost everyone is not in balance, might be the reason why mineral water, charged water, works in the first place. It doesn't always work. If you should have something charged negatively and you drink positively charged water, it probably doesn't help at all. I don't know. I'm not a scientist, but since this COP27, or however it's called, is like in the news all over the place, about talking about CO2, reducing it even more. Like joking us, everyone, the plants included, probably they die first. I don't know. Using energy from light, plants chemically combine carbon dioxide and water to create glucose and oxygen. This process is called photosynthesis. Think about that. They need carbon dioxide in order to survive. 0.038%. That's crazy word. But anyway, I think I'll leave it here. Thanks. Bye.